Before delving into the detailed exploration of Neville Goddard's transformative work, Feeling is the Secret, it is worth summarizing the key insights this video will cover. At its core, this book presents a powerful methodology for manifesting desires through the conscious direction of feelings and the deliberate programming of the subconscious mind. Goddard reveals how the subconscious, when properly impressed through feelings, works unfailingly to externalize those impressions in one's physical reality. In this video, we will explore his four-part framework: understanding the law of consciousness, utilizing sleep states, approaching prayer as assumption, and utilizing the creative power of feeling for a comprehensive understanding of the manifestation process. The fundamental premise, consciousness as the only reality. Neville Goddard's Feeling is the Secret presents a revolutionary approach to understanding the nature of reality and how we can consciously shape it. The foundational premise of his teaching rests on the concept that consciousness is not merely an aspect of our existence, but rather the very substance and cause of all experience. As Goddard decisively states, the world, and all within it, is man's conditioned consciousness objectified. Consciousness is the cause as well as the substance of the entire world. This perspective represents a paradigm shift from conventional thinking, suggesting that rather than responding to an external reality, we are continuously generating reality through our consciousness. Goddard delineates consciousness into two distinct yet interconnected aspects, the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. He characterizes these divisions using gender metaphors that were common in his era, describing the conscious mind as male, selective, analytical, and the realm of effect, while the subconscious is female, receptive, non-selective, and the realm of cause. This relationship forms the creative mechanism through which all human experience manifests. The conscious mind, through its ability to select and focus on specific ideas, impresses these ideas upon the subconscious, which then faithfully expresses them in our external reality. The significance of this relationship cannot be overstated. Goddard emphasizes, by this law, first conceiving an idea and then impressing the idea conceived on the subconscious. All things evolve out of consciousness, and without this sequence, there is not anything made that is made. Understanding this mechanism reveals why many people experience repeated patterns in their lives, despite conscious desires for change. The subconscious mind responds not to what we consciously wish for, but to what we have impressed upon it through our feelings and assumptions. It faithfully expresses whatever we have accepted as true at the feeling level, regardless of whether those feelings align with our stated desires. This explains why affirmations or visualizations often fail when they conflict with deeper feelings and beliefs. Goddard further elucidates that the subconscious mind cannot differentiate between what is objectively real and what is vividly imagined with feeling. It accepts whatever the conscious mind presents to it as real when accompanied by the appropriate feeling state. This understanding opens the door to deliberate creation through the conscious direction of our feeling states. By cultivating feelings congruent with our desires as though they were already realized, we impress these patterns upon the subconscious, which then works to externalize them in our physical reality. The implications of this understanding extend beyond mere manifestation techniques. They suggest a complete reassessment of personal responsibility for our life circumstances. As Goddard states, it is eternally true that the outside mirrors the inside. This perspective eliminates victimhood and places the power of creation squarely in our hands through the conscious direction of our internal states. Sleep, the gateway to subconscious programming. Sleep represents a critical phase in the manifestation process as it provides unparalleled access to the subconscious mind. Goddard places extraordinary emphasis on this natural state, describing it as the life that occupies 1/3 of our stay on Earth and the natural door into the subconscious. The significance of this period cannot be overstated. It is during sleep that our conscious defenses are lowered and the subconscious becomes most receptive to impression. Goddard draws upon biblical imagery to illustrate this relationship, citing Job 33, "In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, in slumbering upon the bed, then he openeth the ears of men and sealeth their instruction." This ancient wisdom recognizes the transformative potential of the sleep state, where the conscious and subconscious aspects of the mind naturally merge and communicate without the barriers that exist during waking hours. The moments immediately preceding sleep hold particular power in this process. As we drift between wakefulness and slumber, we enter what modern neuroscience recognizes as the theta wave state, a heightened state of suggestibility where the critical faculty of the conscious mind begins to recede while awareness remains. Goddard understood this intuitively, advising that this twilight state is when we should deliberately impress our desires upon the subconscious through feeling. The technique Goddard prescribes is remarkably straightforward yet profound in its effects. As one prepares for sleep, one should assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, not merely visualizing the desire, but feeling the reality of its accomplishment as though it were already an accomplished fact. He instructs, lie flat on your back with your head on a level with your body. Feel as you would were you in possession of your wish and quietly relax into unconsciousness. This practice leverages the natural receptivity of the subconscious during the pre-sleep state. What distinguishes Goddard's approach from mere positive thinking is the emphasis on feeling rather than intellectual affirmation. The subconscious does not respond to verbal declarations, but to the feeling tone that accompanies our thoughts. By evoking and maintaining the feeling of fulfillment as we drift to sleep, we are speaking directly in the language the subconscious understands and accepts. A crucial insight Goddard provides is that the subconscious mind never sleeps. While our conscious awareness fades during sleep, the subconscious remains active, processing and integrating the impressions it has received. He metaphorically describes sleep as the door through which the conscious, waking mind passes to be creatively joined to the subconscious. During this period, the subconscious works to align our external reality with the impressions it has received, particularly those given immediately before sleep. Goddard cautions against the common practice of reviewing problems or disappointments before sleep. Many people unknowingly program negative outcomes by falling asleep with worries, frustrations, or feelings of inadequacy. Since the subconscious accepts these impressions as instructions for creation, they manifest as corresponding conditions in waking life. Instead, he advises adopting an attitude of satisfaction and completion regardless of external circumstances. The consistency of this practice is essential. Goddard emphasizes that night after night you should assume the feeling of being, having and witnessing that which you seek to be, possess and see manifested. The compounded effect of these nightly impressions gradually restructures one's entire life experience, bringing it into alignment with the internal patterns established during sleep. Prayer, redefined as feeling-based assumption. Neville Goddard's conception of prayer dramatically departs from traditional religious understanding, reframing it as a psycho-spiritual technique for impressing desires upon the subconscious mind. Rather than viewing prayer as supplication to an external deity, Goddard presents it as an internal dialogue between the conscious and subconscious aspects of our own being. This revolutionary perspective aligns prayer with other manifestation techniques while explaining why certain prayers appear to be answered while others remain unfulfilled. Goddard begins by connecting prayer to the sleep state, noting that prayer, like sleep, is also an entrance into the subconscious. He relates this to biblical instruction referencing Matthew 6:6. When you pray, enter into your closet, and when you have shut your door, pray to your Father which is in secret, and your Father which is in secret shall reward you openly. In Goddard's interpretation, the closet represents an internal state of consciousness where external stimuli are shut out, and the Father in secret is the subconscious mind that receives and fulfills our impressed desires. The essential element that determines the efficacy of prayer is not the words spoken or the fervor of the request, but rather the feeling state achieved during the prayer. Goddard emphasizes this point by citing Mark 11:24, "Whatsoever things ye desire, when ye pray, believe that you have received them, and ye shall have them." The key instruction here is to believe that you have received, not that you will receive in the future, but that fulfillment is already an accomplished fact. This approach to prayer requires a radical shift in consciousness. Instead of asking for something to happen, effective prayer requires assuming the feeling that would accompany the already fulfilled desire. Goddard explains, "The moment you accept the wish as an accomplished fact, the subconscious finds the means for its realization. This acceptance must be at the feeling level, not merely intellectual assent. The mechanics of effective prayer, as Goddard describes them, involve creating a passive, receptive state similar to the pre-sleep condition. He advises that prayer must be without effort, explaining that trying too hard actually reinforces the perception that the desire is absent. Instead, one should yield to the wish as though it were already fulfilled, allowing a feeling of naturalness and completion to pervade consciousness. Goddard provides practical guidance for achieving this state, suggesting that one might relax in a comfortable chair or on a bed and create a passive state by imagining sleepiness. When this relaxed state is reached, one should simply imagine the wish fulfilled, not the process of how it came about, but the end result as an accomplished fact. The feeling of this accomplishment is what impresses the subconscious and initiates the manifestation process. A profound aspect of Goddard's teaching on prayer is the instruction to remain totally indifferent as to possible failure once the prayer is complete. This indifference stems not from apathy but from absolute confidence that the end is secured. He compares this to witnessing the happy ending of a play. Even if you don't know how that ending will be achieved, you remain calm and secure in the knowledge that it will come to pass. Spirit feeling, the creative force of manifestation. The culminating chapter of Feeling is the secret addresses the ultimate mechanism of creation, feeling itself. Goddard opens with a biblical quotation that encapsulates his entire philosophy. "Not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit, saith the Lord of hosts." Zechariah 4:6. In Goddard's interpretation, spirit refers to feeling, the animating force that brings ideas into manifestation. The distinction between intellectual understanding and feeling realization is crucial. Many students of manifestation understand the principles conceptually but fail to embody them emotionally. Goddard emphasizes that it is not enough to know these truths intellectually. They must be felt to be activated. As he states, "He that believeth as I believe the works that I do, shall he do also." The active ingredient is not the belief itself, but the feeling quality that accompanies true belief. Practical application and integration. Having established the theoretical foundation of Goddard's manifestation methodology, it becomes essential to understand how these principles can be practically applied in daily life. The effectiveness of these techniques lies not in occasional practice, but in their consistent integration into one's consciousness and routine. The most fundamental practice involves cultivating awareness of one's dominant feeling states throughout the day. Most people remain unconscious of their emotional patterns, reacting habitually to circumstances rather than deliberately choosing their feelings. Goddard advises developing the discipline to never entertain an undesirable feeling, nor think sympathetically about wrong in any shape or form. This requires vigilance and the willingness to redirect attention whenever unproductive feelings arise. For beginners, a structured approach to feeling state management can be helpful. Setting aside specific times during the day, particularly upon waking and before sleep, to assume the feeling of desires fulfilled creates bookends that influence the entire day. The morning practice establishes a positive template for the day ahead, while the evening practice impresses the subconscious just before the receptive sleep state. The technique of revision, though not extensively covered in Feeling, is the secret, complements Goddard's methodology. This involves mentally revising undesirable experiences at the end of the day, reimagining them as you would have preferred them to be. This practice prevents negative impressions from being carried into sleep and demonstrates the mind's ability to reinterpret experiences through feeling. Another practical application involves what might be called feeling immersion, deliberately intensifying the feeling of the wish fulfilled until it displaces awareness of current circumstances. Goddard explains that the dominant of two feelings is the one expressed. By cultivating feelings of fulfillment with greater intensity than feelings of lack, one shifts the balance of consciousness toward manifestation of the desired state. The challenge for many practitioners lies in maintaining the feeling of the wish fulfilled when external evidence contradicts it. Goddard acknowledges this difficulty but insists that faith is feeling, the ability to feel what is not yet visible to the senses. This requires developing what might be called emotional imagination, the capacity to generate and sustain feelings independent of external circumstances. An often overlooked aspect of Goddard's teaching is the emphasis on assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled in its totality, rather than focusing on specific means or methods of achievement. He advises that in defining your objective, you must be concerned only with the objective itself. The manner of expression or the difficulties involved are not to be considered by you. This keeps the focus on the end state rather than becoming entangled in processes that may limit manifestation. The transformative potential of feeling-based creation. Neville Goddard's Feeling is the Secret presents a comprehensive framework for conscious creation that stands apart from many manifestation teachings through its emphasis on feeling as the creative force. The book's concise yet profound insights reveal a methodology that is both mystical in its understanding of consciousness and practical in its application. If you found value in these teachings, please support our continued exploration by subscribing to this channel and activating notifications. Your engagement through comments and shares helps extend these transformative ideas to others who may benefit from them. Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery. Until next time, practice feeling your desires fulfilled and watch as your life transforms in accordance with the immutable law that feeling indeed is the secret. Do share your experiences in the comment box. See you soon.